Pranams to all Atmajyotis, divine light of the self. Let us take up the next sloka of Upadesha Saram, sloka number 6. Uttamastavad
उत्तमस्तवात्
Uchamandatah
उच्चमन्दतः
Chittajam
चित्तजं
Japadhyanamuttamam.
जपध्यानमुत्तमम्.
So Sri Ramana Maharshi now focuses on the sadhana, verbal sadhana. We chant God's name, we do japa, we do stotra. So there are three ways of doing japa, chanting of God's name. One is ucha, that means loudly. Then mandataha, ucha, madhyama. You chant God's name only so that you can only hear. And third way of doing it is you chant mentally. Which of this is good? Which of this is better? So chanting God's name loudly, chanting the God's name such that you can only hear, or chanting mentally, of these, mental chanting is the best form of chanting. Next comes chanting which you can only hear, and third level is what you can hear loudly. So why this is so? When you are chanting loudly, your mind is still outwards. But chanting loudly is important because in the initial stages, by chanting loudly, your mind will become focused. Okay, the impression of the mantra goes deep into consciousness. Then you should switch over to chanting where you can only hear, not nobody else will hear. Loud enough only for you to hear. So in this process, you are going from outer to the inner. Finally, the chanting of the mantra has to happen mentally. Nobody can hear, but you have a mental chanting goes on. This is like learning swimming or cycling. When you learn cycling, first somebody has to hold your cycle, help you. So similarly, when you're chanting mantra, first you have to chant loudly. That's the way you begin. But after learning, after you become proficient in cycling, okay, you don't need somebody to hold you, but you can cycle yourself. Similarly, when chanting mantra, you go to next level where when you chant, your mind is focused, your mind doesn't get diverted. So you can chant loud enough for you to hear. You don't need to chant loudly. So gradually your mental focus increases. Now you can chant mentally. You don't have to chant loudly at all. Similarly, this will happen when after I get a proficiency in cycling. Okay, you can cycle without holding the handle also. You can remove your hand. Similar to that, as you become proficient in chanting mantra, as your mind becomes focused, you don't need to make a sound. You can do mentally the chanting. This is how you progress in the japa or chanting process. In this process, what happens? You are moving from outer to the inner. You are moving more and more to the silence from the sound.